Hi, welcome to Daydreams of Quilts on YouTube. Today we are going to be making a bunting flag string with a 1 yard of fabric, and then we're going to need some fabric for the string that the triangles get tied to or sewn to. This is the fabric I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be cutting my triangles out with this ruler. I will link to a ruler that I found at Troll Brothers Quilt Designs in the description below. This one's an 8.5 high ruler, and hers in her shop is 12.5, but you can still use that ruler to do this project. And if you don't want to get a ruler, you can make yourself a template. This is a 60-degree equilateral triangle. It's 60 degrees on the bottom corners and 30 degrees at the top, and it's 8.5 inches tall. So we'll get started cutting our fabric. The first thing I'm going to do is put this right sides together so I can save myself a step at the sewing machine. Okay, I'm going to cut with an 8.5 inch wide ruler some strips. I'm going to try and get the red and the yellow stripes equal on this. You could make your triangles taller than 8.5 inches, but I'm using that because it's easy with my rulers. Okay, and then I'm going to just line up my ruler on this strip, and I'm going to cut my flags. I think I want to go in rainbow order, so I'll cut with the base of the triangle at the top of the strip, and then I'll just cut like this. Okay, so there's our first flag, and I'm just going to keep going down the strip. So if you're using the 12.5 inch high ruler, you would just line up your 8.5 line at the edge of your strip here. So you can actually get 3 flags out of a strip here, because the one in the middle will also make a flag. And I'll try to find out what this fabric is and put a link in the description below, or put the name of it in the description below for you. Now that all of our flags are cut out, we just need to sew with a 1/4 inch seam down the sides of our flags and pivot at the corner at the bottom and sew back up. So to pivot, you just leave your needle down and turn your fabric, and then you can just trim off the bottom corner and turn it right side out. Okay, so here's all my flags. They've all got a 1/4 inch seam, and then I pivoted at the corner and just went back up to the other side. Now I'm just going to trim my seam allowance at the corners, and I'll do that for all of the flags. And then we're going to turn them right side out and just poke out that corner with our fingers, or you can use a chopstick, and then just pop over to the ironing board and press all the seams. And once you have them all pressed, then we just need to trim off these little dog ears at the tops of our triangles. And let's see, how many did I get? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12 flags out of 1 yard of fabric. Okay, so 12 flags at 9.5 inches across the top is 114 inches. So we need a string that's 114 inches plus about 1 yard on each end so we can tie it. So we're going to cut strips. So 114 plus 72 is 186 inches worth of string divided by, say, 44. So we need to cut about 4 strips, 4 width of fabric strips for our string. So I'm just going to cut 4 2.5-inch wide strips. I'll just square up my first edge. And I'm just going to make this just like binding, except instead of just folding it in half, I'll fold it in half and press, and then I'll fold the raw edges into the center and press, and then that will be the channel that the flags go into. So I'll get those all cut. Okay, and then I'm just going to take these to the sewing machine, and I'm going to lay them right sides together, one on top of the other like this. So there's about 1/4 inch on either side. And I don't want these little holes in it, so I'm leaving 1/4 inch until we hit the holes on the fabric. And then that's just like the selvage. Or you could cut the selvage off and then just do 1/4 inch, but this just saves one step. And then I'm just going to sew from here to here so that when I open this out, it's a continuous line, a continuous strip. And then I'll just trim off 1/4 inch away from that. And do that for all of them so they're all sewn together. So this is what it looks like with the seam. And then you can just test and make sure you did it right by opening it. And then you can see that, yes, everything's lining up. It's one continuous strip. And then we just need to trim off. So we just line up the 1/4 inch mark from our ruler on the seam. And it's lining up on these 2 little corners here as well, and then we just trim. And then we're going to go to our ironing board and press all of our seams flat. Then we're going to press the whole thing in half, then open it up and press the raw edges into that center line, and then refold it. And that is going to be our string that all of the flags attach to. Okay, so here's what the flag string looks like when it's all pressed. So I had just pressed it in half first to get that center line, and then pressed the 2 edges in, and then repressed everything. So now we can put our flags in there. If you don't want them side by side, you can space them out, or like use less flags or make a longer string. I'm gonna just leave about a yard on the end so that I have something I can tie around a post or a curtain rod or something. These are going to be for birthday celebrations in our house, so these are also great for other holidays. You could do Halloween. This even looks like candy corn, actually. You could do Halloween, Christmas, Canada Day, Independence Day. Just change up your fabrics. And if you don't want to just use all the same fabric for your flags, you could just cut 4 8.5-inch strips and then cut your flags out of those. So I'm just placing the raw edge of the flags up in that center fold, and I'm just clipping the flag string around the flags, and then I'm just going to sew like right here 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way down the string and get all the flags sewn on in one shot. But because this is going to wind up being quite a long string, if I space them out, I'm just putting mine right side by side. But you could leave a space between them if you want a longer string, or if you like that look better. So I'll just go all the way down and clip them all on, and then I'll take them to the sewing machine. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's all sewn. I've just sewn right along the edge there. Make sure you're catching the other side with your stitches. So there you go. Very easy to make, eco-friendly birthday and holiday decor. Okay, thanks for sewing along with me today. I hope you enjoyed making these bunting flag strings with me. I'll put links in the description. Thanks for sewing along. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tutorial videos from Daydreams of Quilts.